So I'll just very quickly revise what we have done in the yesterday's class. Yeah, there was some disturbance in the internet. I think now it is fine. Okay, so I'll just very quickly revise what we have done in yesterday's class, and then I will start with today's class. We have started with a new chapter. Okay, the name of the chapter is CSS Cascade Style Sheets, and more or less you have understood yesterday's class. Why do we use CSS? Okay, CSS or cascading style sheets is used to develop or make web pages look more attractive and more beautiful. All the websites that you see today are attractive, and their websites has to be attractive, otherwise people won't come to your website. They have to be attractive. They have to present the data in a much better way so that people can read them nicely and all that. So that's why websites has to be made very, very attractive. Okay, and who helps us to do this attractive? CSS. Okay, CSS is a technology which will help us to develop attractive web pages. As the name suggests, CSS is used for styling your web pages. HTML basically is used for formatting the data, placing it here and there and all that. But only using HTML, we will not be able to develop good websites. So we have to use CSS. Okay. So we learned a few things about CSS, history, what is CSS first of all, and then which are the different versions of CSS that were introduced. The one which we are learning is CSS 3. Okay, the latest one. Then we yesterday studied the syntax of CSS. We studied the syntax of CSS. You know that CSS is always written like this. Okay, we write it like this. First we have a selector, then there is a flower bracket opening and closing, and inside the opening and closing of flower brackets we have property value pair. We have a property and value pair. Each property value pair is separated with a semicolon. Okay, it's separated with a semicolon, and you can have any number of property value pairs for a particular selector. Okay, this you have to remember. But each property value pair, which is separated by a colon, property value pairs are separated by semicolons. Even the last property value pair should have a semicolon in the end. Okay, this is a syntax which we have seen yesterday. And one example we have seen is that em tag. If there is an em tag in the document somewhere, please, the color of the font should be red. Okay, so this is what it means. A p tag, if there is there in the HTML document, please have it a margin of left 5 pixels, 0 to the top, right 10 pixels, and bottom 0 pixels. Okay, so this is how we apply styles to a particular tag or to a particular selector. Okay, and another, I told you that you can have any number of property value pairs for a particular tag. You can have any number of property value pairs. So these are two examples. Then later on we understood what is meaning of a selector. I told you that not necessarily selectors are tags. Okay, selectors are those things. From the definition of selector, from here it is clear that it is something which will identify to which particular part in the HTML document the style should be applied. The style that you have defined should be applied on which part of the document. It should be applied to a tag, or it should be applied to a particular part in a tag and all that. Okay, so we will learn about different types of selectors later on. Okay, so let us go to today's class, and I'm going to explain to you. I gave you a little hint of what we're going to learn today. We're going to learn locations of styles. Okay, what do you understand from this? In a HTML document, more or less, we now know that how to write HTML documents. We know it starts with an HTML tag, and then there is a body tag. In the body tag, there are different types of tags. Then you write some text, you place images, you place links, all that you place. HTML does that. But now in this HTML code, when we write, where do we write CSS is a question. I told you yesterday there are 3 places where you can write your CSS code. Okay, the 3 are inline. You can write CSS code inline. I will tell you what is the meaning of this inline later on. So we can write this code inline, or we can write this code embedded, or we can write this code external. These are the 3 points. Very important. In the examination, they will definitely ask you this question. Please remember, this is a sure question. Which are the different places? What are the different locations where CSS is written? So first is inline, next is embedded, and the last one is external. Let us first understand what is the meaning of inline. Inline, when we say that we write CSS code inline, means we define the style, we write the style in the tag itself. We write the style in the tag itself. For example, let's have a look at this. Now there is a little mistake these people have done here. Okay, the tag doesn't end here. Actually, I will write this in my notepad. It will make more sense. So I will copy this and I will put it in notepad. Do not get confused. I paste it here. Yeah, this is how it should be. Yeah, this is how it should be. So now you saw here that normally how do we write the tag in my HTML? If let us say this is my HTML, I will in fact write the HTML only, HTML, and then you all know that it should contain a head tag, then head tag should have a title tag. Okay, my CSS example, okay, something like this, okay, slash title, and then slash head, and then let me have a body, and in the body then I will have all this slash body and then slash HTML. So my HTML document is complete. So I will save this now. File, save. I will save this in the D drive. Okay, D drive. I had created a folder, if you remember, called as web. Yeah, there it is. And then I will save this document here. I will save this as CSS example, CSS example dot HTML. Remember, whether you're writing HTML code plain or HTML file has CSS code also inside it, you have to save the file with extension .html only. Okay, so this is HTML code. No, entire thing is HTML. You have HTML tags and all that. In between, we are going to write some CSS code, but still you have to save the file with extension .html only. Remember that. Okay. So I will remove this, Control X. So you can see that what is there in my web page. Share your travel. No, I will remove this. I will write welcome to the world of HTML and CSS. Okay, this is what I write. So I save this file, save, and then I go and I first, let us try to open this. Okay, so I go to the D drive, I go to the web folder, and then if I double click on this and open this, you know that this is the file. So if I double click on this, it will open in the, and then you can see welcome to the world of HTML and CSS. So welcome to the world. So there is no space here. That's why there is no space coming there. I put a space, I save this file, save, and then I go and refresh this. You can see the space appears. Okay, so now you know that this appears and there is no style. There is absolutely no style. I've not written style. If I want to define style, I want now this particular thing to be displayed with a little different style. H1 has its own style, but I want to override that. I want to override that style of H1. I want to give it a new style. So I define that style here in the tag only. I define that style here in the tag only. How to define that style? I write style. This is how I write CSS code. Now, please remember, this is the inline method of writing CSS code. This is the inline method of writing the CSS code. Why this is called as inline? Because we write it inside the tag. We write it inside the tag like this. So we write style is equals to, and then style is equals to, then we write all this. Style is equals to, then in double quotes we define the rule, the style of how it should appear. So what I said here is that in H1, for this particular H1, the style of font size should be 24, I said. Okay, the font size should be 24, I said. Okay, so file, I save this, I go to my page, I refresh this. Nothing has happened, I think, because 24 is this same style. So what will happen if I write this, let us say, as 10 points, Control S. So I save the file, save, I go here, refresh. Now you can see that I have defined a style for the H1. I've defined a style. I said that in this H1, the style should be, font size should be 10 points. Okay, and then if I refresh this, then you can see that the font has reduced to 10. I will write it more or less. I will write something like, let us say 5 points. Okay, let us say 5 points. So I save that file, save. I go to the XML page, I refresh. Then you can see that it appears even more small. You can see that it is even more small because I've defined my own style to the H1 tag. I've defined my own, I've defined my own style for the H1 tag. Okay, what I have done is I've said that in the H1 tag, I've said that in the H1 tag, okay, the style, the font size should be 5. So that's the reason why this is coming very slow. And if I write 25 here like this, 25 points, let it be 25 points, file, save. Then if I refresh this, then it becomes big. Because what I have done is I have given a style to the H1 tag. And how have I defined it? I've defined it in the tag itself. See, the tag is not closing. H1, I wrote like this, H1, and then I'm closing the tag here. And in between here, I write the style. How to write the style? You have to use the word style, S-T-Y-L-E, is equals to, into double quotes, you have to define the style. Here we don't use the flower brackets, remember. Normally, I told you that the syntax of writing style is that you write flower brackets, no? But when you define it inline, when you define the style inline, this is the format that you have to follow. You have to write style is equals to font size, property, and then value. Let us try to give one more style to this. I will put a semicolon here, and I will write font hyphen color is equals to, I say red. I put a semicolon there. I put a semicolon. Okay, so file, save. I saved it. Now, hopefully, what should happen is H1, the font should be 25 and the color should be red. Okay, this is what I feel. I save, refresh. No, no, it did not, because I think, this font color property is not there. I thought that it must be there, but I'll just write only color and let us see whether it will come or no. So file, save. I think there is a property called as color. Font color property is not there. Only color is there. Let us see. Let us see. Okay, so file, save. I go here. I refresh. No, nothing is happening. So I think even color property is not there. We can have a look at that property somewhere here. So you know that we have these different types of properties here. Okay, so for font, we have font size, font face, font family is there. Okay, font family is there. This is for the background color, line spacing. Let us not go for the color. Let us go for font family. Okay, let us go for font family. I'll copy this. I'll go there, and here I will put Control V. Font family is, it cannot be red now. Font family, I'll say it should be Courier. 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 There is one font family called as Courier. It should be like that. Okay, so file, save. I saved it. I go here. I refresh. Let us see what happens. Nothing is happening. So font family is equals to Courier is there or no, or Arial, file, save. No, there was one property which was defined here. It was on the top. I will just copy and paste there. Yeah, font family. I'll just copy this in the font family. I'll copy that. Control C. I go there and I put that here. Let us see. Control V. So I copied that and I pasted it there. Control S. File, save, go and refresh. Yeah. Now you can see that. Now you can see that this has changed. Okay. Previously it was coming in Times New Roman, but now you can see the font family has changed. It has changed to Arial. Okay. What I was doing is I was doing a mistake like this. The spellings are very important. If you don't write the spelling properly, then the browser will not understand that. So what I have done now, right now, is I have defined a style for the H1 tag, and I have defined it inside the tag only. I have changed the two properties of the font. First is the size of the font. I've said that it should be 25 points, and font family, I have said it should be Arial. If Arial is not there, then Helvetica and then sans serif. You understood? So this is how we apply style to a particular tag by defining the style inside the tag only. This is called as inline. This is called as inline. Okay. Now, have a look at this. I define one more H1 tag here, and I say this is the second line. This is a second line. File, save. This is the second line. So we have two lines there. We have two lines there in the web page. H1 where it is displaying welcome to the world of HTML and CSS, and one more H1 where it is displaying this is the second line. Okay, now if you look at the code, you will understand that this style of font size 25 and font family Arial will be applied to welcome to the world of HTML and CSS. It will be applied only for this particular text. Do you think this style will be applied for this is the second line also? The style of font size 25 and font family Arial, do you think this style will be applied for this line also? Let us see. So file, save, I refresh, and then you can see here it is not applied. First, you can see the size is very big and the font is also different. It is Arial, but the second line is normal in H1. Second one is normal H1. It is a normal H1 tag, no special applied. Why? Because in which tag you have defined the style, only for that tag the style will be applied. Only for that particular style of tag the style will be applied. It will not be applied for all the tags of H1. It will not be applied for all the tags of H1. In whichever tag it is defined the style, to that particular tag only the style will be applied. It will not be applied to all the H1 tags. Remember that. Remember that. Okay, so this is one place where we define the style. I hope this is clear. Okay, we will come back to inline again later on. Okay, in detail we will go and see this. The second type of location style first is inline. In inline, what happens is it is written here. Okay, inline styles are styles rules placed within the HTML elements via the style attribute. Inline styles are the styles placed within HTML tags, we write it, or elements. And then how do we apply the style? We use an attribute called as style attribute. Okay, and then one example is given below here. So I hope you understood this inline tag. Now next is embedded style sheets. Next is embedded style sheets. Next is embedded style sheets. Now, what is embedded style sheets? Embedded style sheets are those CSS rules that we define or we write them in the head section of the HTML tag. We define this style in the head section. We define it in the head section of the HTML document. We don't define them inside the tag like inline. We define them in the head section of the HTML document. Okay, so you can see here that in the head section there is a style tag. Inside the style tag, then you follow the rules, syntax of CSS, and then you write H1 font size should be 24, H2 font size should be 18, and the font width should be bold, like that. Where we define it? We define it in the head section. We define it in the head section of the HTML document. So I will copy this. I will copy this. I will go to the same file which I had written, the same file in which we had written inline. So I'm going to remove this. I'm not going to define any more inline. So I will remove that. So both of them, you see now they are same. I go in the head section, here, and then I define the style here like this. Is that clear, all of you? So I've defined a style. Where I've defined it? I've defined it in the head section. How do I define it? There is a style tag I have used. There is a style tag I have used. And in the style tag, there is a style tag like this, and then I've defined H1 bracket font size 24, H2 bracket font size 18. Okay, and I've written it like this. You need not write it like this. You can write it in one single line also. It's just readable like this. It is more readable like this. So we have written it like this. Please remember that. Okay. So now, when you define the style in the head section of the HTML page using the so when you define the style in the head section in the style tag H1 for H2, it is defined at the document level. We are defining at the top of the document. Which document? HTML document. We are defining the styles at the document level in the style tag in the head section. Now, if you have defined a style for H1, this style will be applied for all the H1s that appear in the document. You have defined a style for H1 and you have said that wherever there is H1 appearing in the document, this style should be applied for that. So now wherever this H1 is appearing in the entire document, remember this style will be applied. Okay, now let us see this. What is that? Font size is 24 and all that. Okay, so file, save. I go here, I refresh this. So you can see both of them are H1, so the same style is applied. Okay, I will just try to make this a little what was that? Font family, and then I had copied that from somewhere. So I will, yeah, I'll just take this. No, not even this. What was that? Just take this font family. Okay, and I will go here. I will put here. I'll put font family is Arial and sans serif. Okay, so wherever there is H1, now that will be applied. So file, save. I go to my code. I refresh this. Now you can see both of them got changed. Both of them are now Arial. Okay, I have not defined any style here in the H1 tag. I have defined it on the top at the document level. I've used the embedded style of defining my style. I've used the embedded technique. Embedded technique means you define the style where in the head section of the HTML document, and then you have defined a style for H1, and in the document after the body section, if there is any H1 anywhere, remember for all the H1s, this style will be applied. I hope this is clear. In case of inline, what happens? In case of inline style, only that tag where this style is defined will take the style. Even if there is another H1 in the same document, that style will not be applied. But if you define the style, the embedded technique in the head section, if you have defined a style for H1, all the appearance of H1 in the document will take this style. Similarly, there is H2 also. There is H2 also. Okay, if there is any H2 here, if let us say there is H2 here, H2, and then I write this is in the H2 tag slash H2. Okay, so slash H2, this is an H2 tag. File, save. I come here, I refresh this. So you can see that this is in the H2 tag, has appeared a little small because it is font size 18. Font size 18. Okay, this is font size 18. This is in the H2 tag. Oh, if I make this as 10, this H2, if I make it 10 points, file, save, you know that it will become small. So I've saved it. I went there, I refreshed. So you can see that it has become 10 font. The size of the font is now 10 because H2, for H2, I have said the font size should be 10. And if there is H2 here, this is the H2 tag will appear small. This is the H2 tag appears small. Okay, I hope this is clear to all of you. So one is when you declare the style in the tag itself, it is called as inline. The other one is when you define the style in the style tag in the head section of the document. The advantage of defining it in the head section using the embedded technique is that you have to define the style only once. You have to define the style only once, and wherever in the document this particular tag is appearing, for all the tags this style will be applied. You don't have to go there and individually write down. Like in inline, only for that tag it will be applied, but in embedded technique, when you define it in the head section, it will be applied for the appearance of all the tags. Okay, fine then. So this is about embedded. In embedded, what happens? You define the style in the head section. Remember that. In inline, what happens? You define the style in the tag itself. Okay, let us go further and see the third type. Let us see the third type. Okay, locations of style. Inline we have studied. It is in the tag. Embedded also we have seen. It is defined in the head section in the style tag. Okay, last is external. This is the third type, external. This is external. In external style, you define the style. In the external style, you define the style in an external file altogether. You define the style in an external file altogether. You don't write it in the HTML document. See here. In this example, this is embedded. Okay, this is embedded here. Okay, this is embedded, so you define it inside the HTML document. But in external, remember this style. Okay, Control X. I remove it from here. Okay, I remove it from there, and I open another notepad and I paste the style only. I say, okay, I do it like this. H1, H2, I define the styles. I can write it in one line also, no problem. And this is actually more readable if it is an external file. Okay, so I think this is better. So what I did was I typed the style only. I typed the style. H1 font size should be 24. Font family should be Arial. H2 font size should be 10. Font weight should be bold. I've written that and I've kept it in an external file. I will save this now. Okay, what I'm doing is I'm defining the style in a different file altogether. I created a new notepad document and I typed my CSS there, and I'm going to keep it now somewhere. I have to save it somewhere. So I have to keep it in the same folder where you are planning to keep your HTML document. Where is my HTML document? My HTML document is present in the web folder. So I'm going to save this CSS code also in the same folder. And remember, when you save this file in the same folder, you should save it with extension .css. So I will call this as my style.css. What does this file contain? It contains only CSS. It contains only CSS. You're defining your style here. You're defining your style here. You know that you're defining your style here and you're saving it. When you save it, remember you have to save it with extension .css. Give some file name. Give it a name called as my style or yes1.css. Any name you can give to the file. Please remember. Okay, but the extension should be .css. Save it. Save it. Now I have saved this file. Where did I save it? I have saved it in the web folder, and you can see it has appeared here. It has appeared here. My style.css. My style.css has appeared here. Now let us go back to this HTML code, and I want this h1 tag. I want this h1 tag to apply that style which I have defined in an external file. So how do I mention that here? You have to mention it like this. You have to say in the head section, you have to simply write only this line of code. That's it. In this HTML code, you don't even have to write all this. So in the head section, what I'm writing only this much. I have to write link. I have to add one tag in the head section, and I have to say link relation rel is equals to style sheet, href is equals to style.css, but it is not style. What is the name of my file? It is my style.css. So I have to write the name of the file here. In href attribute, I have to write this value. What is the value? File name, in which file you have defined the style. The name of the file is what? My style.css. Is it? Yeah, my style.css. I'll copy this. Control C. I copied the spelling. Sometimes we make a mistake, and then I go here and I paste. Okay, my style.css is what I have defined. So I have said in this HTML document that please take the styles and apply to the tags. These styles are defined in my style.css file. How do you mention that? You go to the head section. In the head section, you simply write link space rel, relation rel is equals to double quotes. You have to write style sheet space href is equals to the name of the CSS file. File save. Okay. And after you have saved the file, then I will first do one thing. I will write it without this. I will remove this. Control X. I removed it. I saved it. File save. I go to the file and see the output. I refresh this. You can see that it is all very normal now because the style is not applied. How is my HTML page? It is without any style. H1 is welcome to the world of HTML and CSS. One more H1 is this is second line. H2 is this is the H2 line. So if I go and see the output of this file, this is without any style. Okay. So now what I will do is I will go to this and I will say Control V. I paste it here. I added that line and I said that please apply the styles from this file. So file save. I go and refresh this now. So you can see that now the style is applied. This is H1 tag with font size 25. This is also H1 tag with font size 25. Font face or font family is Arial. And this is the H2 tag with font size 10, and so on. So now you can see that it has applied the style, but it has applied the style from which file? From an external file. Where we have defined the style, we have defined the style in an external file called as my style.css, and where it is being applied, it is applied in css example.html. css example.html. This is the file. So now the browser takes the style from this file my style.css and then applies it on these tags. What will happen if I make a mistake in this? If I write my style1.css, this file doesn't exist. This file doesn't exist. What I'm doing intentionally is I'm doing a mistake in the file name. Okay, let us see what happens. File save. I go and refresh this, and then you can see that everything appears normal because the browser has not found the file mystyle1.css, so it did not apply the style. It will not display any error. Please remember, it will not display any error, but it is just that the browser will not be able to find that file mystyle1.css because it is not present here. Mystyle1 is not there. Okay, what is there? Rather, my style is there. So if I remove this one from here, if I save this file save, if I go and refresh this, now you can see that it appears properly. Okay, so I hope you understood what I'm trying to say. What we have learned today is we have learned the different locations or the different places where we can write our CSS code. First, we can write it inside the tag itself. It is called as inline way of defining the style. You can also define the style at the head section of the document. It is called as embedded technique of defining the style. And finally, the last one is external styles, where you define the style in an external file and keep it and save it with extension.css, and then use this link tag in the head section to say that the browser, to tell the browser, please use the CSS file from this external file. Okay, now I will tell you the advantages of all of this. The disadvantage of inline is that if you want to apply a style, then you have to define it in all the tags. You know that. Second is, in the embedded technique of defining the style, you can define the style only once. You can define the style only once at the beginning of the document. And then that style will be applied for all the tags in that document. If you define a style in the beginning of the document, that particular style will be applied for all the appearance of h1 in that. So wherever h1 is appearing in the document, this style will be applied. Okay, and external, the advantage of external is that you can define the style only once in one file, and you can apply the style on multiple documents. If, let us say, your website contains 10 documents, if it contains 10 HTML pages, if your website contains 10 HTML pages, you can apply the same style, define it only once, and apply it on all the pages. This is the advantage of external style sheets. If, let us say, tomorrow the customer comes and tells you, no, the font size 24 is not looking very good. Okay, and if you have done it, if, let us say, your customer comes and tells you, I want you to develop me a website of 10 pages, okay, define and show. So you will design, and then you will use, let us say, the inline technique of defining the style. Here, every tag you have to write the style, and you have to write 24 points and all that. Okay, now then you will say, no, this is too much. I will do one thing. I will define it at the document level. So you will define the style at the document level, so that you don't have to define it for every tag. Okay, and let us say tomorrow the customer comes and tells you, no, the font size is looking very big. You do one thing, you change the font size in all the pages. So if you have used inline, you have to go to every tag and you have to do it. If you have used document level, then you have to open all the 10 HTML pages, and because all the 10 pages will have the style tag, no, all the 10 pages of HTML will have style tag. So you have to go to every page and you have to do the changes. And if you have used external style sheets, you have to go only to that external file and do the changes there. It will be applied for all the 10 pages. So now you understood the advantage of external styles. The advantage of external style sheet is that you define the style only once and you can apply it on multiple pages. If you don't like any style, you have to just change it in one place in the external file. It will be applied in all the HTML documents. I hope this is clear, all of you. Okay, so these are the different places, different styles, all that. Next comes selectors. So we are going to learn the different types of selectors. We are going to learn different types of selectors. Yes, I told you that selectors not necessary is only the name of the tag. If I want to apply it for a particular section of the HTML page, I can even apply that. So we will be learning this in the next class. Okay, in the next class, we will be learning on a fresh day selectors, another very important aspect from examinations point of view. I have seen this question appearing almost every time. Explain selector forms. Okay, they say explain selector forms and all that. So we will see what is this selector forms, okay, in the next class. But right now, I hope you understood what is external style sheets, what is embedded style sheets, and what is inline style sheets. Okay, so we will stop here today. If there is any question you have, please note it down, keep it ready, and then you can ask me in the next class. So I think we will stop today's class, and have a nice day, all of you. Bye-bye.